without sounding too over the top or dramatic, this one shift that I made in my thinking, it enabled me to build a 7-figure business in my early 20s. And now this business, by the way, is not a spirituality or mindset coaching business. That's not what I do. I have a completely separate business, okay? But I want to start making videos about this topic because, honest to God, going back to when I was 18 or so, when I was just getting started in business, I'm 24 now, the difference then and now has been primarily in here. It's been the inner work that I've done. It's been creating a space for myself to succeed. And so I just want to share these ideas with people. So I'm going in depth on this channel. You're welcome to subscribe and check it out on these topics. Okay, so I'm going to talk about mindset, self-image, and building personal power, because these are the things that enabled me to create the 7-figure business that I've created. You know, I'm slow to go into like the mystic end of things. You know what I mean? The esoteric. I don't find a lot of value there myself personally. However, I do think that a lot of people find a lot of value there, so maybe I'll explore it more later. But I'm talking more the psychological, the practicalities of what you say when you talk to yourself, which is a very popular book in the space. Your self-image, who you believe you are at your core, okay? So I'll tell you a little bit about my story to help put some context behind this. You know, I was about 18 and I'd just gotten started in business, okay? So I was making like $2 or $3 grand a month, which was like, okay. And I was selling like marketing service. I had a marketing agency and I was selling a little bit of coaching on the side, like marketing coaching and stuff like that. And I was doing okay. And then I stumbled into this book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And it taught me that ultimately human beings get exactly what they believe they deserve, which is a completely new concept to me at the time. I thought you get what you worked for. I thought you get what you sacrificed for. I thought you get, what it is that you rightfully earn. And there's some truth to that, but amongst the variables of things that you end up achieving in life, or the reasons why you achieve things, amongst the reasons why you achieve things or why things come into your life, one of the strongest reasons is just what you believe you deserve. What you believe you inherently wake up and breathe in and breathe out. So I had to, for a very long time, most of my teenage years, even into my later teenage years, I had a very, very negative concept of myself. Very, very negative. I never really believed I was worthy of success inherently, right? So I never felt worthy of happiness. I never felt worthy of success. I never felt worthy of impact, influence. I never felt worthy of really anything. I always just kind of thought like, I don't know what I thought of myself. I just always kind of thought like, I don't know, I guess on the surface I acted like I deserved things, like on the surface, but it was never deep, right? Does that make sense? So I always acted, I took action, I moved, I went, but on some core level, I was like, there's something wrong with me. You know what I mean? And that feeling of there's something wrong with me lasted for a very, very long time. Up until when I started to read books like Psycho-Cybernetics, where, in that book, it talks about Psycho-Cybernetics and As a Man Thinketh are the two books that I really think had the most impact in this space for me. And then there's many others, but those are the two. And what those taught me was the thoughts that you entertain about yourself, what you allow to kind of ring in your head and what you allow to echo around between your ears, it cannot help but produce fruit in your life. And so if you believe something to be true, you literally will never act against it. So if you believe you don't deserve success, if you believe you're not worthy of success, or if you believe that by succeeding, you'll lose the safety that you have in your life right now, you'll lose the approval of certain people in your life, which you might. But if you believe that that's dangerous, that's another thing. If you believe that money is scarce, if you believe that love is scarce, if you believe that, the good things in life weren't made for you, then you'll never act as in accordance with somebody who believes that they are, who ends up getting them. And I never really thought about that. That was a new concept to me. And that's maybe an older concept to some people watching this video. To some people watching this video, that's a new concept to you too. But for me, that was profound. It was profound in its implications. And so I started really kind of going on this journey of, what do I deserve? Who am I and what do I deserve? And I started to realize there's a lot of like mental baggage that I was holding about like, you don't deserve this. And this is most people. As I talk to most people and I listen, I start to talk to them about like, what are you working on? What are you building? And everything. And I hear just how small they're thinking. And then as I dig and I dig and I dig, and I'm very careful to dig, ask just open questions and dig, it turns out that most of these people, they're thinking small because they just genuinely don't believe that they could do the bigger things. So now today I've had multiple six-figure months. I've had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales in single months and put hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit in the bank in a single month. And I've done that with, multiple different businesses and multiple different angles and everything. And that has a lot to do with working on how I saw myself and what I believed I was worthy of. And moreover, it has a lot to do with just changing the target. I believe that human beings get what they want at the end of the day. They always get what they want. And what I mean by that is if you secretly harbor a desire for security above anything, then running a business and succeeding is not always the most secure thing. So you'll turn away from that. If you secretly harbor a desire for love, that's your deepest desire, is just to be loved. And you find that succeeding in your business is keeping you from that love, then you will self-sabotage that business. You will find that if you succeed, you don't get love, or if you succeed, you don't have that security, or if you succeed, you don't have maybe a sense of community or a sense of well-being, sense of like you are where you need to be, right? Then you'll sabotage those things. Which, by the way, all of those are lies. Every single one of those is a lie. Just because you succeed doesn't mean you lose love. Just because you succeed doesn't mean you lose security. Just because you succeed doesn't mean you lose that sense of community, that sense of like a place to be. So anyway, I started to realize that I was more concerned with these things, security, a sense of well-being, these things, than I was concerned with getting wealthy, with actually succeeding. And that's why nothing was working. So I didn't change anything about the business model. I didn't change anything about what I did in the business. All I did was change myself. Because our businesses are just reflections of us. What we do in the world, our side hustles or our full-time businesses or whatever it is that we do, it's all just a reflection of us. Even just our career, right? You don't have to be a business owner for this to apply to you. It's a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of it's not it's you. So everything that you work on is ultimately just the byproduct of the ways in which you've interacted with it over time. And your interactions with it, to pick apart that idea of an interaction, is it does something and then you respond a certain way. And your response is just the byproduct of the many, many, many beliefs and filters that you run stimulus, things that happen in your life through, right? So you've got beliefs, you've got habits, you've got neural pathways that have already been carved, you've got patterns of your existence that just have been natural to you for years and years and years, maybe decades. And so your career, your business, whatever you work on, is just a byproduct of those natural habits, those natural responses. And so what I started to realize was, wow, I don't need to work on the business. I need to work on my responses to things. I need to work on my beliefs. I need to work on my thoughts and what I entertain and what I say when I talk to myself and my self-image and these elements. And that is when success started to come a lot quicker for me, because I realized, wow, it's not that the business was broken. It's that my thoughts and beliefs weren't in alignment with the sorts of thoughts and beliefs of an individual who does 7 or 8 figures in their business. And so that's when things really began to click. And it wasn't like even a year and a half later that I had my first 6-figure month, going from 6 figures a year to 6 figures in a month. And it has a lot to do with that inner transformation for me. And this isn't the case for everybody. Some people come preloaded with like the right way of thinking, right? They have the right view of money, the right view of themselves, the right view of the world, and they just kind of just glide into succeeding. And maybe you've noticed this. It's almost like some people, they work and they work and they work and they work and they work, but they don't get anywhere. And then other people, it's like they just glide into success. Success just comes so naturally to them. And I used to be the former group where it felt like everything I did took so much effort. And it felt like I was constantly working and constantly sacrificing weeks and months and years and so much time and energy. And then I shifted the inner conversation to, how do I become worthy spiritually and emotionally and sort of metaphysically of the things that I want? And really the answer to that question is, how do I become worthy? Well, I need to become the sort of a person who is worthy. And what is the sort of a person who is worthy? Well, it's, many character traits, but just to name a few, it's like somebody who, first of all, doesn't see it as that big of a deal, right? That's an important one. It's like, you can't see $1 million as like a huge deal. If you see it as a huge deal, or you put it on a pedestal, you push it away from you. So anything that you put a sense of overimportance on it, you care so much about it, you push it away from you. You make it special. It can tell that it thinks that it's special to you, and it avoids that because it wants to go, success wants to go to people and places where it can naturally just flow as it naturally flows. And if you see it as special, if you see it as like this big achievement to have a 7-figure year or a 6-figure month or even a $10,000 month or have $1 million in the bank or whatever it is like this, right? These things, they get pushed away from you. And this doesn't just apply to business. This applies to everything. Like, a lot of men, they look at my marriage and they are inspired by it. I've got a really great relationship with my wife. And to be honest, when I first got into like dating, when I was 17, 16 maybe, I did not at all I didn't at all feel truly worthy of like a deeply loving, good relationship. And I don't know really where that comes from, but it was just the reality of my thoughts and in my inner dialogue. So I had to change that. I had to work on that. And so I had to take being married and having a healthy relationship off of a pedestal and put it where it needs to be, which was like, this is just something that I inherently can have because I'm Trey Cockrum, and Trey Cockrum has a great relationship with his spouse. Just like I'm Trey Cockrum, and Trey Cockrum makes millions of dollars a year, or I'm Trey Cockrum, and, I have many people who watch my content and care about what I have to say, and I'm Trey Cockrum, and I have meaningful value to bring to the world. I have something that people care to listen to, and so I'm going to put it out there, But a lot of people, they don't, those thoughts, they haven't, if they were to say, let's say your name's Sarah, right? I'm Sarah, and I make millions of dollars a year. Like, that might feel like a separation. You might say that, but it just you can feel in your heart, in your mind, like, that's not me, right? That's not me. That's really what I am trying to attack with these videos, is to get rid of that gap between a statement about yourself that you would like to be true and its inherent truth, because it's a two-way street, right? If you get a bunch of success but you don't feel like it's you will sabotage it. It won't last. However, as well, if you feel super worthy of it but you don't do the work, obviously you're not going to have it, right? So you need to both do the work and feel worthy of it. Doing the work and feeling worthy and deserving of it is the real secret to sustainable success, right? Because, I've seen a lot of people do the work, build up a stockpile of money, do pretty well, and then it's gone pretty quick because there was something about their inner dialogue that just didn't line up. They didn't feel like this was actually something that they were destined for. It felt artificial. It felt like it was on the surface. It wasn't coming from within them, right? It was a surface sort of a thing. And they were constantly thinking, when is this going to go away? When am I going to lose this, right? When am I going to go back to what I deserve? And that is a dangerous place to exist. It's a dangerous place to live. And, I myself, I felt that, it's funny. I never feel it anymore. We just had a record sales month in my main business last month, and it didn't even feel like, I didn't feel anything, to be honest with you. It just feels so objective. It's just like numbers, and that's what it needs to be. Is business just needs to stay numbers, and that's what relationships need to be. Is love just needs to be love. it's just a thing that it is, It's not this thing that is so scarce and that is like, oh my gosh, what if I don't get it? Like, why wouldn't you get love, right? Like, you get love. That's something that you get, and so I think, it's really interesting, these whole subjects. So if you want to make more videos on this sort of stuff, just let me know. If you watch this video this far, I feel called to tell you maybe what a good next step is. I'm taking private consults. We're opening up a program. I haven't named it anything yet. But it's going to be all about this stuff. It's going to be where you are now. Let's map it out. Let's get clear. Where would you like to be? Let's map that out. Let's get extremely clear. Who do you have to become to have that? So really, it's a program all about becoming instead of wanting, becoming instead of desiring, because I believe that people get what they are. So you get who you are, not what you want. And so this whole thing is a self-transformation program, and just kind of guiding other people through the process that I went through that enabled me to build a 7-figure business. Of just digging into my thoughts and digging into my psyche and building something better. So I haven't named it anything, but the top link in the description, you can book a call with myself, and if you're a good fit, I'll enroll you into the program. And it's just all about that process. So if you find yourself stuck at a certain point right now, or you find yourself constantly desiring something, working for it, but you're not making that progress, you might need to put the brakes on. You might need to do some work on you first for a while, and then come back to it with a fresh version of yourself. Because I don't believe that it's the business model so much as it is the person driving the business, right? At the end of the day, most businesses are pretty much the same. As long as they're above a certain, you can call it a hypothetical threshold of suck, right? So as long as the business doesn't suck, it's not in a dying industry, or it's not inherently unprofitable or a terrible idea, right? Then most of the time your business will work if the right driver is at the wheel. And so that's what the program is all about. So if you're interested, you can apply. Links in the description, and I'll see you there. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be really, really fun to work on ourselves together as a community and build this thing up. Okay, it's not free. It's going to be a charge, but that just shows me how badly you actually are committed to yourself, right? And that's what's important, is you can commit to yourself, commit to change, and commit to the process that I've laid out. Okay, so if that sounds like you can go ahead and book that call below. Either way, I'm going to be making more videos about this topic, kind of just for fun. Running that side business of the mindset coaching, I'm just excited about it. Just a fun side project. And I genuinely think that we're going to build some 7-figure, maybe 8-figure business owners out of it. Because to me, that's my calling. My calling is to wake people up to their own potential. That's been my calling for years. It's why I started making content. It's why I started doing what I do. It's why I run the main business I run today. I think through helping other business owners, my main business, which it doesn't really have a full name. The name of the product is the Consulting Blueprint, but the business doesn't really have a name. It's just me. It's just Trey Cockrum, right? The reason I do that, the reason I do marketing consulting is because it's just part of helping people market themselves is helping them realize how valuable they are to the world, right? So if I can help them see that, then I give them a good marketing framework, hey, write this ad this way, run this page this way, everything. Then I change their life. So I show them that they're inherently valuable to the world, that what they do is very needed, and then I give them a better marketing process. And so that's the mission of all my businesses, is to help people see their own potential, because I myself was an individual who I really wish I made more content at this time. I made a little bit when I was early on, but I had this deep sense of insecurity. I'd see other people succeeding on the internet or whatever, and immediately this feeling of an intense gap would arise. They're there, I'm here. They're up, I'm down. They're big, I'm small. And it wouldn't be their system is big, my system is small. Does it make sense? It wouldn't be their business system is developed, my business system is underdeveloped. It would be they're big, I'm small, right? And so it would be this inner dialogue of a sense of deep insecurity, deep longing to almost a self-hatred even, which I think is very common in our world. And so social media has a way of doing that. Social media has a way of getting you feeling almost as if you're not inherently worthy of a thing. So anyway, that's the video. Don't really know exactly what I'm going to call this, but maybe just something about manifestation or something. And hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.